Hey guys, today I'm going to talk about a few different things. I'm just going to kind of hit or miss on a couple things that are, in terms, important things with renewables and also with the tanks and things of that nature. So, one thing is airflow. Airflow is really important when it comes to renewables, but also when it comes to doing just about anything else. Uh, that's airflow to the tank, to your coils, and also airflow to your battery as well. So, today's setup, I'm just using a steam turbine, standard tip, Tesla M3 with some 30 amp battery. Now, I'll talk about my Tesla first when it comes to airflow and battery. It's not the best in the world. Just turn it on real quick. So, my Tesla, the airflow, it's kind of a complaint for a lot of people on these because the airflow is actually down inside top cap of the mod. Now, a lot of people complain that that's not good enough, but if you think about it, it's not that bad. It could be worse. I've seen much worse airflow setups on mods. So, for a cheap mod, it's not a clone of anything. It's just itself. That's pretty good. So, now, airflow in the battery is really important for two reasons. One, the most important is keeping the battery cool. But two, also helps the battery function better. Now, when you have proper airflow on the battery, it can do two things. If you're heating the battery up a little more, you can actually cause the battery to output more. And that's just the heat building up in the battery, which causes a little more surge of pressure. So that's beneficial in its own way, but can also be a burden in the sense of you can overheat your battery. It'll start ticking. It's a nightmare. That's definitely something you do not want. That being said, improper airflow on a battery can also cause other issues. If a battery is to overheat, it'll cause issues in the sense of your battery will start ticking. Ticking is a sound that the battery will make as it's overheating. And when that starts to happen, you've got a real problem on your hand because if you don't get the battery off that heat immediately, it'll explode. And not explode in the sense of this big gnarly explosion where parts are flying everywhere and people get hurt. You can get hurt from it quite badly. But what will happen is when it starts to tick, if it does explode, the bottom cap and your firing pin will shoot off. And that's not fun. I've seen it happen a million times. People using improper battery techniques and improper batteries. Now remember, if you're going to be running crazy sub-ohm coils, these massive output coils, do not run an ICR. Be smart about it. Don't run an ICR. You want to run an IM on the battery. And it's just a different compound in it that prevents it from overheating. Now, that's done. That's simple. Simple, easy thing to remember. Keep your battery cool. Never overheat your battery. Now let's talk about airflow onto your coils. Airflow onto your coils is important. And as I always have gigantic air holes in mine. It's because I like a really airy tank, but also I like a cool hit. I don't like a hot hit. And the airflow onto the coils is what gives you that cloud. You get that cloud from the airflow. And essentially all it's doing is it's grabbing that vapor coming off of your coil and shooting up the mouthpiece. That's why, luckily, my steam turbine, perfect match every single time. Just screw it down all the way. It's perfectly aligned with my coils. But if you have something like a Nimbus per se, where it's got this free floating cap on it, always make sure that your air holes are aligned with the way your coils sit. That'll bring airflow straight onto the coil, straight up the mouthpiece. That's what you want. Prime airflow. Because remember, when the vapor is off that coil, you're leaving more room for more vapor. That's how you're getting those big clouds. We're not just getting the big clouds from having these setups. There's techniques that go behind it as well. Now, that's also really simple to grasp. If you combine those two things, you will get better. You'll have a better vaping experience, you'll get better flavor, and obviously, of course, you're going to get much larger clouds. So, I'm going to move on from that point. I'm going to talk about something that is near and dear to me. That's juice. Now, I use special juices. I usually get them from a shop or I make them myself. But juice is really important in the sense of if you don't have the right juice, you're not going to have a good vaping experience. Sorry, people can. So, my juice, I prefer to set it at 90-10. So anytime I buy a liquid from shops that have a house blend of the 70-30, I always adjust it to a 90-10. Always adjust it to my likings. Now, that is not always the best, but generally shops that use natural extract will allow that room for more VG to be put into it. And my house does look like a meth lab right now because I have many juice bottles lying around, many gigantic bottles of VG, beakers, syringes everywhere. You don't have to do that. It's simple. You can have a bottle of VG and a bottle of liquid. Now, right now I've just got most of these little tiny bottles. I love them because they have a needle tip, so it's easier to get down in my steam turbine or any renewable or RTA for that matter. But juice is, of course, debatable because some people like certain flavors, some people like other flavors. It's all an option. So, me, I generally like fruity flavors because obviously it leaves a good taste in your mouth. But really, when I'm doing sub-blend and stuff like that, a good flavor I like to use is a good cream flavor. And because cream is the weakest flavor you could possibly get, so if you're using that flavor, and if it's really flavorful when you're using the coil, when you're first wearing the coil, you can imagine what it's going to be like once you put a fruity flavor. It's going to be through the roof, delicious. And my juice, current favorite is a little house blend I've got going on right now. It's called Tropical Storm. I get it from Luxor Vapors in Arlington, Texas on Middle Road. It's really good. I always adjust it. They come stock as a 70-30. I always adjust it, make it a 90-10, and I like that a little bit of fruit punch in there, and just makes the flavor really pop. So, with that, pick your juice wisely. If you like tobacco flavors, go with tobacco flavors. But if you don't like tobacco flavors, don't think it's going to taste different or double, because it won't. It won't taste any different, especially if it's a cigarette tobacco flavor. Because let's be honest, cigarettes don't taste what you think they taste like. They taste like garbage. But that being said, some people love those flavors, and some people swear by them. So my thing is, whatever juice you like, go with it. I like to do a heavy VG blend. It helps me get those clouds. But it's all up to you. Just don't go overboard with it. Most people, I really not a big 5 Ponds fan. Most people ask me, oh, why don't you like 5 Ponds? It's, sticky whiskey barrels, and it's got all these magical flavors in it. I'm just not a big fan. I like good, simple flavor. I don't like anything over the roof. My thing, too, is I like to have liquids made in front of me, because then I really get to see how it's made, what goes into it, make sure they're putting the right amount of nicotine, because I've gone to many shops before. They say, oh yeah, we'll put 2 milligrams nicotine in here for you, but 4 or 5, which is ridiculous. That's another thing too. When you're doing sub-ohm, when you're doing anything that's going to get you a big massive cloud, you need to back that nicotine off. Because if you're usually smoking like a 12, do not put that 12 inside the building, because you're going to have a bad time. It's really painful. It's caused because when you're putting out such a massive cloud, you have to realize you're pulling in 4 or 5 times the amount of vapor that you would normally get from a regular standard setup. So, obviously, goes to show you're also adding more nicotine to it. So when you're getting a lot of nicotine, it's obviously not going to taste very good. It's can be a little bit painful. So remember, you're going to be doing stuff with massive clouds, back it off, because it's not going to be fun. So, I mean, I stick with 2 milligrams. I'm usually chiefing on like a 12, so it works good for me. You should never have hiccups when you're vaping. What a hiccup is when you take in the vapor, and as you're letting it out, if you start to hiccup, kind of choke a little, that's not good. That means your coil is essentially cooking a lot of nicotine that's hurting you. So, all that being said, your vaping experience is your vaping experience. Make it your own. Don't let other people tell you how to vape, because that ruins the fun, honestly. If you let other people tell you how to vape, it's not going to be as good. Like, you wouldn't be surprised how many people I've seen come into a shop. They'll have 2 people. One person's been vaping for a little while, the other person's brand new to it. And they say, oh, just give me whatever they got. No, don't do that. Do what suits you. Just because you think you like something doesn't mean you really do like it. Because you could find something way better. Do something, especially for people that are quitting smoking. Definitely make it your own experience. Don't let someone else tell you how to do it. Alright, guys. I'm going to call it a quits on this one. If there's anything you want to tell me, anything you want to let me know, anything I can improve on, good vaping ideas, also new coil setups. I love finding new coils, new tanks, new mods, stuff like that. Post down there in the comments. I read it every single day. So, thanks for watching, guys. Y'all have a good one.